in our interaction with you guys, I was disappointed with all of you. I told you guys that you guys will generate funds and you spend. You don't remit, you don't do anything. You waste that place. You agreed before Ambassador resumed. You know, most members don't understand the reason why the new minister, when he took over, he was just changing head of departments, bringing in new people. You know, a lot of people don't understand the reason. FCTA, they've been operating the way they want. There's no profit, zero. See with our coming now, with the Honorable's resumption, see what you collected. She wants to change Abuja investment. For me, if I advise most of you, you're not supposed to be on that seat again. I'm telling you.
Honorable Chairman, thank you. But I am seeing a spirit of it's not my problem, it's not my business, it's government business, and so it's not my business. That's the spirit I'm seeing in here. And I want to advise you all that as long as you do not take the government property seriously, you cannot even make your own business, because it's what a man sows that he reaps. So please, government is for all of us. If you are put there to do something, I know women are good managers. Yes, we women are good managers. If you want to do your best, you will do it. So, all the pieces, all the broken pieces, put them together and make us proud. That's all I'm asking of you. Because there's so much here that you can do. And there's so much laxity. And it is not right. The chairman has said it. He met with you all. And he was disappointed. But you are there. Make him proud. Thank you.
Well, there is fluctuation on it. But what I want to ask here, how much is your manpower of the organization entirely?
So the manpower as at today, that was because about 2 years ago or 3, from what I learned, they employed some 30 people, and those are on contract and not yet renewable. Not yet renewed. So the manpower is about that now.
The new head, I will congratulate you first, and to also tell you that you have a lot to do. I will talk about 2 areas: Abuja Market Management Limited and Abuja Film Village. I want you to investigate the market management. What they have done so far, they have subsidiary companies in all the markets we have in Abuja. Those companies, they are generating revenue in millions. They budget those monies, they spend the money, they don't remit to the mother company. That is Abuja Investment. They generate revenue, they do their budget, they spend it. At the tail end of the year, they either declare zero profit or a very small profit, then they remit a certain percentage to the mother company. And it is in connival with the civil servants that you are working with. You have to do more. We want more revenue. This company is doing almost 0% in terms of performance. This is Abuja. You are talking about Abuja Investment Company. You should not be calling hundreds of millions here. Look at what Lagos is doing, what Port Harcourt are doing, and other small states. Go and check their books. You will see their turnover. Then the next is Abuja Film Village. That place, that department, in fact, in our last interactive session with this particular department, they don't even have office to operate. You need to call on their head to investigate what actually is going on. And they are having allocations. No activity is going on there. They have a site, but the site is abandoned. Nobody goes to the office. Nothing is happening there. So you have a lot to do. You are new, we will not ask you so much questions. We have a lot of questions to ask. Thank you.
Just short one. Please do the needful. Those who have been sitting in these positions and misappropriating our funds, remove them and bring in people who are ready to work for the betterment of this country. There are so many youths out there who have good certificates, but there are no jobs. And people are there, they are going about doing nothing. Secondly, on the issue of Sheraton, are you telling me that there was no proper documentation to this effect? Who are those staff who were in charge of this documentation? Who were supposed to follow up? Who didn't know that, who didn't exchange communication to know that these people were doing something about the shares that you invested in? Where are the staff? We need to see them. They need to tell us what happened and what on earth led to the reduction in the share, the investment quality you had with Abuja Intercontinental. Please furnish this committee with the necessary documents, and we must bring those staff to book. That is my own submission, Chairman.
His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu for demonstration of gender sensitivity, inclusivity, and the friendliness by appointing a lady, a woman, and she has demonstrated capacity. I took time to study her and I listened to her. She started newly. We should equally encourage her, and I strongly believe that with much encouragement she will do more. But of course, to whom much is given and much is equally expected.
Thank you.
So having said that, and be it as it may, I say a big congratulations to you, my sister.
Thank you.
Yes, that I was looking at her. I had to go and confirm. Is this Ambassador Morin? Because I can tell you in this house that we have not seen anything yet. I met her in Jamaica when he was ambassador to Jamaica. I think in the whole Pacific, he transformed Jamaica. She's very, very aggressive. So when she was reeling, all his achievements, I think we are just seeing little. So what we need as a house is to encourage her and also urge her to do a holistic audit of the staff you met there. They might be tracking you back, which is very, very important. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Honorable for investment. As discussed with the committees, you see a lot of members know you before coming into Abuja investment. But for us, with the discussion we did to your previous team, I told you I was disappointed. Is now I realize why the Minister of FCT is bringing in new hands into FCT. We know you. With the little time you come in now, the revenue has come up, and we hope you are not coming down. And I will advise you, anybody that you are not ready to work with, remove the person so that you can work well. The committee is ready to support you and to support FCT in general. Thank you.
For your very kind words, and to thank Mr. Chairman for this opportunity to be able to say what Abuja Investment is all about. But I want to reassure you that as your junior colleague that I was from the Rivers State House of Assembly many years ago and held other offices, you can be sure that we couple with the fact that, you know, women want to do what we have to do so we can sleep well. I'll be able to do the needful and make contributions to FCT and, of course, to the Renewed Hope agenda of Mr. President. That I will do. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Older persons, youths, the vulnerable generally. And then sports is also under the SDS. Under sports, they take care of all sporting activities in FCT, empowering young and normal grown-up athletes, sporting facilities, management of sporting facilities, competition, taking part in competitions, both in FCT and the states, and even international. Then there's tourism department, Tourism takes care of, as the name depicts, identification and maintenance of tourism sites, monitoring hotels' compliance with tourist issues, identifying sites, all other tourism activities. Then art and culture. Art and culture, also as the name depicts, is even the parent department of the SDS. That's why we have, even the building is called Arts and Culture, Discipline, Frequency, Art and Culture. Everything about creative arts, culture. We have a mini museum that in the center. We have a library of art and craft, tie and dye sections, all other things dealing with culture. We also take part in cultural activities around the nation and abroad when we have funds.
Of your mind.
It's under the Mandate Secretary. We have legal, procurement, audit, and all that. Okay, the last department is PRS, which is the technical department that keeps our record, as the name depicts. This year. So I'm like 3 months old, sir.
3 months. Who was acting as administrative head before your resumption?
The DAP there was a DAP. She has retired.
Retired from service.
Yes, sir.
So you are new in the place now. You are only 3 months.
Yes, sir.
What of your remaining staffs? They are all new there?
No, they are.
Most of you are new in that department, acting, the permanent secretary, and even the mandate secretary. I think we call you as committee to interact with you for our preparations for 2025. You know, we've not met during your 2024 appropriations, but we are planning to go on oversight. That's our main purpose of inviting you. But since you guys are mostly acting, I think we'll just allow you guys to go. Maybe when we are ready for oversight, we'll come to your place and discuss with you. You can go.
Thank you very much.
/ General Counsel. So I understand the fact that probably it is fashioned after the Honorable Minister of Justice and the Attorney General. Though the office is built in one person, but when you look at the nomenclature, it's actually, there is variation in the responsibilities. And I know very much that this Honorable House and the Senate at a time have debated as to whether they should separate both offices. It's made up of 5 departments. We have, first and foremost, we have litigation, and the director is here. The director of the litigation is in charge of representing the administration in court if there are any issue, and also when we have issues of arbitration, you know, when it is formally before an arbitral panel. So the Department of Litigation is in charge of that. Though every lawyer, so far you are in the secretariat, you somehow have to be affiliated to that department because you'll be assigned cases. Then we have the legal drafting, whose director is seated very close to me. They are in charge of vetting every agreement, from procurement agreement, legal drafting. If there's any need for us to present a bill before this Honorable House or the Senate, it will first and foremost have to go through them, or probably sometimes it originates from them. So they are saddled with that responsibility of going through that drafting, anything that has to do with legal drafting. And sometimes when we also have to terminate contracts for non-performance or for any reason, that department will have to advise us. They have to go through the agreement because that is their specialty. They understand if there's, if there are saving clause for us to terminate. Then we have corporate. Corporate, that is where the FCTA school secretariat is domiciled. They are in charge of every matter that has to do with corporate, every corporate matter. That is where it is domiciled, and also the FCTA school. They are in charge of keeping, records, taking minutes, and also some other sundry works that are related to that secretariat. Then we have the advisory. Under advisory, we also have arbitration and mediation, where parties who have decided that, look, we have grievances against the administration, but ordinarily we don't want to go to court. So we have forum where they sit down and under a very well experienced personnel, they will sit down to try and, as much as possible, to see if the matter can be resolved without going to court. Or sometime when the matter is already in court and there's an advice from the, from the court that let us see if we can mediate between ourselves, we channel it to that department, and also they will liaise with probably litigation and some other relevant department to ensure that the issue is appropriately resolved. Well, it does not have to do with only matters that are, that are related to the administration. Even in sometimes matters that are not related to the administration. So far, two warring parties are in court, and one has petitioned the other one, and we knew about it. Yes, they will sit on it and see if they could settle the two warring parties. Then we have investigation. Yes, most petitions that are sent, whether it has to do with issues of trespass to land, double allocation, or some other very serious issues that come to the legal secretariat, we send it first and foremost for prosecution, for investigation. However, like we introduced them, it is Department of Investigation and Prosecution. The prosecution aspect of it has not commenced fully, because that we have to create a very good legal framework for it. And also we have to liaise with the Office of the Attorney General for us to do that. But the investigation aspect is quite very active. And then we have our Department of Admin and Finance. They are they serve as the administrative arm of the secretariat.
Thank you.
The Deputy Chairman of this committee. So from what you told us, you signed all the agreement within the FCT, right? When it has to do with JV.
Not all agreements. Not all.
Not all, but in most cases.
Yes.
The list of the JV you've entered into so far, maybe within 2023 to date.
Well, maybe you will have to give us some time for us to revert back to the committee.
Of course.
Thank you. That since I came in, we try as much as possible, where physically possible, to comply with judgment. We understand the fact that, and we try to put human face to judgment enforcement. I will give you an example. Sometimes we have some very dirty incidents of double allocation, where one person, Mr. A was allocated first, then Mr. B probably manipulated his way and got allocated, or probably out of maybe forgetfulness, or I don't know, whatever it is, Mr. B was also allocated the same land. Then you see both of them in court. Mr. A, who know very well that his title will be defeated in court, you see him building a mansion on the land. And at the end of the day, judgment is given to him. So judgment revert back to us for compliance. So when we look at situations like this and we understand the fact that should we for any reason decide that, okay, let's comply fully with this judgment, that is by giving Mr. B's mansion to Mr. A, Mr. B will definitely sue the FCTA again and claim for damages. And in such damages, it will be very, very huge, because he's going to claim for the cost of the building, the entire building, his effort, and some other emotional damages which he might plead. So in situations like that, we sit down, we look at what is happening, and we decide on our own that, okay, look, let's recommend to the Honorable Minister for alternative allocation. In such situation, we try as much as possible to see if we can compromise the judgment with the consent of Mr. A, who is the owner of the judgment, who is the beneficiary of that judgment. So sometimes we recommend to the minister that, please, let us give an alternative allocation, something that is suitable in the eyes of Mr. A. Ordinarily, normally we dialogue with him, we sit down, we talk to him. So once he approves of what, our suggestion, we recommend to the minister. And in most instances, I can't remember of any instance where the minister has not approved. since September last year that I have been in office. We recommend to the Honorable Minister, then he approved, and we process title document. Though these are unfortunate instances, but this is what we try as much as possible to do. Because I don't think that security-wise, it won't be good that Mr. A sleep comfortably in Mr. B's house. Will be creating a very a bad blood among Nigerians. So those are instances that, but the truth of the matter is this process itself takes time. The process itself takes time. And we shouldn't forget the bureaucracy in civil service. It is, you know, we don't have magic wand to just automatically give alternative allocation. We have to write to URP, to lands, URP, the source for alternative allocation. And in some instances, they come back to us and say that, no, my land that was taken is in Mitama, is worth billions of naira, and then you've given us one farmland in Karishi. And then we start running up and down again, trying to, you know, see how we can. But in all this, we always remember the fact that we are dealing with our fellow Nigerians and try as much as possible to do our best and to be just.
Your mic. Your mic.
Okay. That maybe probably we have some we disagree with the, if we should we disagree with the court, we'll definitely appeal.
How many lawyers?
173.
173 lawyers.
Yes.
Why?
We hire outside solicitors in very, you know, there are some cases that require certain expertise. Apart from that, we hire some external solicitors for reason that we want, you know, experience count when it has to do with litigation. Experience count, and also for some other reasons which many of us here may be conversant with, why you would prefer to hire an SCN to, you know, to defend an action on your behalf.
Chairman.
Compromising judgment. Let me explain it and let me give it very clear. Parties, if I have a dispute with you and the court award 10 billion naira in my favor against you, both of us can sit down and decide that, oh, I have seen that you cannot pay me 10 billion naira for whatever is after your explanation. Then I will agree to compromise it by saying, okay, let me just give you 2 billion naira and probably give you another property. That is what it means to compromise a judgment. It does not mean to disregard the judgment. I'm sorry, please.
Salary. At the same time, you are engaging private lawyers to take care of your cases. How much is the annual cost? How much?
From what I have here.
Up the other mic there.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, from what I have here, per annum we have about 642.8 million.
Per annum?
Per annum.
Huh?
Yes, per annum, per annum.
How much do you have in 2022? 2022-2023 budget?
Oh, please, please, come on. 98.9 million. And then 2023, 642.8 million. Yeah,
and that your recurrent? Your total recurrent?
Yes.
Huh?
Yes. Yeah, personnel cost. Under personnel cost.
No. When you got, well, I didn't say personal, I say your overhead. Total recurrent.
Of the Office of the Attorney General to bring it very clearly. So, what is the significance of proposing an amendment to the relevant sections of the Constitution in order to give? I don't think you have the legal backing of the Constitution as it were. What do you think is the significance? What would be the significance of the proposal to amend the Constitution to give you that legal backing? That's number one. Then on your jurisdiction, are you restricted to just FCT, or you have jurisdiction over and above all the area councils of FCT?
Restricted to just the FCT. We are restricted to just the FCT. I believe that they have their own legal representation and legal advisors once it gets to the area council.
As to the office of the General Counsel, the office actually came into being because of the peculiar, unique status of the FCT. The Constitution actually described the FCT as if it were a state. And we know in the states, we have commissioners for justice. that are described also as Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice in the state. So it's along the same line that the President, who is also consistently the governor of the FCT, decided to create this office of what we can as well describe as Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice in the FCT. But this time around, it's actually called the Office of the General Counsel and Secretary, FCT, Legal Service Secretariat.
Just make a clarification. If you look at the Constitution, I'm sure you're very competent with the Constitution. 304, 303, 304 speak specific, 302 speaks specific. Supposing an amendment will be a right move in the right direction.
There cannot be a vacuum. The Constitution says that for the purpose of interpretation, FCT should be treated as if it were one of the states of the Federation. And then we have a Supreme Court judgment that says the minister of FCT, even though he's called a minister, sitting in the pleasure of the president, he is the governor for FCT and he is entitled to have all the apparatus of governance obtained in states. In view of that, sir, we have sufficient ground to do that. However, to avoid that constitutional conflict, that's why the office is called that of the General Counsel. That's why it is not called Attorney General, because FCT is as if it were one of the states. Area councils are as if they are local governments. So they are entitled to all the perks and privileges and all the apparatus. In any case, sir, Order 1, which was done, is also pursuant to the Constitution, because the Constitution says political and administrative structure of the FCT is to be created to facilitate the running of the place of the entity. In view of that, you now have the Mandate Secretary for Social Development as Commissioner for Social Development. You have Mandate Secretary for Agri as Commissioner for Agri. In the same vein, you now have General Counsel who is performing these roles because there cannot be a vacuum. Thank you, sir.
For you to be able to identify the particular allocation to one person instead of giving one property or one land, allocating one property to two people at a time, that will cause a litigation. Is there no way we can avoid it by having a proper documentation and proper record of whatever you people are allocating to the public? Thank you.
I think Mandate Secretary, my last question, do you accept petitions from area councils, developers?
We accept we don't turn any petition away.
Area council.
I probably I don't understand the question.
Okay.
Let me put it this way. A petition is still an allegation. And as a secretariat, we have an obligation to entertain every petition that comes to us. But the principle still remains that area council cannot allocate land. It's only the minister of the FCT that can allocate land. So once the petition comes, we investigate it and we explain all these principles to those who are holding on to those titles. But if the question is whether we can accept petition, we accept petition from everybody. But we will investigate and apply the law to the best of our ability and explain it out to those who are holding such titles.
In your report, maybe the last mandate, they gave it in favor of the area council, which have informed the current minister. That's the compromise I think most of our colleagues are saying.
Mr. Chairman, just to scratch the surface of it, that decision appeared to be very, very irregular. That is quite an anomaly. But, however, you permit us to examine the context in which that decision was taken. Or probably, I can't imagine any other reason why that decision would have been arrived at. But since we haven't looked at it, we shouldn't be finding somebody guilty before the person takes his plea. So you permit us probably, if the petition probably come before us, we'll examine it and we'll do the right thing. There's no harm in reversing a decision that was wrongly taken.
But as you said here, if I were you, the law officer of FCT, if there's any discrepancy of land between area councils and honorable minister of FCT. I don't think you need to go further. When minister approves land, he overrides any other person in FCT. You don't need to spend monies to start going to court.
Mr. Chairman, I perfectly agree with you. But, you know, by virtue of our training, being that person is not saying the truth, you must allow the person to say his own part. Since the other party is not here, that is why we can't arrive at any decision. We will still have to hear from them. Because on ground of fair hearing, no matter how good the decision is, they can still go to court and nullify that decision of yours. Significantly, we have a lot of we have improved, unlike, you know, what it used to be before. And again, we put in, you know, a lot of mechanism to ensure that even though we're going to lose any matter, it should be on the merit of it, not as a result of negligence or probably, you know, any I don't care attitude.
Thank you, and I will advise you that now you have a minister that is a lawyer. Maybe that's why you guys improved. So you guys need to change. You know him, he doesn't tolerate. And if he's with the law, he knows everything. For our committee, if there's anything we require from you before we start our oversight, we are going to write you and still invite you. You can please go.
Mr. Chairman, I don't know if I could just say one enforcement previously before now. Mr. Chairman, one of our problems with complying strictly with judgment on time is the fact that our budgetary allocation for judgment is about 300 million, right? We have about 300 million naira allocated for judgment. If you have judgment against FCT, it's from there we're going to pay you. But the actual fact is that sometimes we have just only one person having judgment to the tune of 5 billion naira against FCT. So there's no way I can call my staff that we should come and let's contribute to pay that person. That is one of the problems we have once it has to do with judgment enforcement.
Thank you. Noted.
It's actually the investment arm of the FCT. Abuja investment is not in the budget of the federal government because it's an investment arm. It's a limited liability company. So it means it turns over its investment over time. Not too long ago, maybe 2 administrations before this, a lot of other subsidiaries were set up that is supposed to work under Abuja investment. And those subsidiaries are Power Notch, which is a leasing company, the Abuja Urban Mass Transit company. We have also the Abuja Property Development, and then the Abuja Markets. We have other subsidiaries where we have a few shares on behalf of the FCT, which is the ASO Savings, and the Abuja Tech Village, 20%. Before I resumed, I heard that we had 6% shares with the present Intercontinental, which is now, Sheraton before, which is now Intercontinental. But when I held a meeting with them, because I've been able to meet with every subsidiary and every associate, they were able to tell us that they recapitalized and went PLC. But apparently information reaching me was that the people before me didn't know about it, and our shares have reduced to 3%. So we're looking at it and talking and looking for a way forward, because we're not more than 2-3 companies that are left on their board, and they're looking for 3% is not enough to sit on their board. You're a nominal shareholder, so you can only go to a general meeting. So stuff like that. And so we have come on board, and I met quite a lot of things that were a little bit inconsistent in the system, that we're working very hard to see how we can regularize a few of those things in terms of percentages of contracts, of investments and all of that. So, but the workforce is okay, but I saw that they lacked motivation. So we're trying to do a lot of capacity building and to drive them to ensuring that we can return dividends to our owners, which is the FCT. Thank you very much. Management Limited, Abuja Property Development Company Limited, Abuja Urban Mass Transit, and then Abuja Film Village, then Power Notch, and which is a leasing company, and then shares in like the Centenary city. It's 5% shares. FCT has it, but gave it to us to work with them. And that's what it is.
It was a brief little on each one. Abuja Market.
Abuja Market is actually in charge of some of the district markets. First and foremost, the markets that we manage are only the district markets. We don't own the whole markets within Abuja. We're only allowed the district markets. And so what we do, like let me give Wuse Market for example. Wuse Market is owned 90% by the owners. We own 10%. So what Abuja management does for Wuse Market is to manage the facility there, you know, through the gate takings which they do collect on our behalf, and then they manage the facilities, they manage to pay the refuse collections and stuff like that, and they also work with the market association, because there are a bit element of what involves us is the social element. Being that we're government, we cannot increase prices, you know, abruptly like others would if it were privately totally owned. And that's where OMTCO comes in. For example, we have competitors who buy our vehicles, they refurbish them, and they hike it to the prices they like. But because our prices are controlled by the government, so we have particular regulation, we cannot overcharge the people that we govern. So we hold brief, but be that as it may, part of the leakages we're trying to, we can foresee, we can deal with is the issue of maybe monitoring the system of collecting the fares, you know, which was just being collected manually before now, but we're looking at the systems where these leakages we believe would be reduced, and then more money can be made into AICL, which in turn will help us to pay dividends to FCT.
What about Abuja Properties?
Abuja Property is actually saddled with the responsibility of building, of owning properties on behalf of, before I got here, apart from two regimes, which is the regime of El Rufai and Modibo, the rest regimes, Abuja Property was dealing directly with the ministry, with the minister. So we did not have a control over what Abuja Property does, suffice me to say. But with the incoming of the new minister, he has streamlined the system that all of these people have a direct reporting line. So what they do is, what they're meant to do is to do estates, manage estates, different cadres of estates for the middle class, for the high class, and different kind of people, and also declare profits and pay dividends also, which has never been done. But in the last discussion with them last month, because of the new process that has been set up, they have committed to, you know, making sure that they will do this year, declare dividends to AICL.
Of the transport scheme?
The Abuja OMTCO has been very epileptic, really, because as we speak, I think they have only about 84 buses, if I can remember that, and then most of the buses are not working. They were before I came, I heard they were meant to sell, but on our findings, we found out that the caliber of buses we have, ash trucks were very strong trucks, and there was no need to sell, but we could see how we could use some of them to repair others and have them running. So they've not been able to break even. There have been, you know, some epileptic problems that we're looking at to see how to help them. And then one I also want to talk about is the Abuja Film Village. We've heard the story of Abuja Film Village even before I became the group managing director. But suffice me to say that for 24 years, nobody went to see where is this place. And when I assumed office, all I was hearing was, don't go, they kidnap, don't go, and all of that. But we're able to weather the storm to get to the point in Kusaki. And we have about 3,000 hectares of land there, which is being encumbered already. And then there are mining taking place there. We're working with the FCD. Fortunately, I did a memo to the minister, which he has approved graciously, and set up an interministerial committee where we need to know where our boundaries are, because we saw miners on the plots. You know, it was really a tough place to go to. but we didn't want to water down what we went to. We were able to accomplish it. So the committee will come up with this report to know how to be able to secure the parameters around there and see what we could do with it. But like we all know, the entertainment industry is such that it's a thriving one. So we have gone ahead to meet with some of the stakeholders, like the Actors Guild, and they're all very willing to partner with us. So we're working very hard to see how to stimulate the economy, knowing that it will create jobs and other things. So it's like work in progress. Village, we have only 20%. 80% is still with the FCT, as it were. So we don't really have that overwhelming control over it. But with our own share, we've been able to go there and see what they're doing. As at now, they have some few companies that have already started operating from there, the ones that do marbles and the ones that are doing energy in form of light, kind of program that is ongoing there. They are just, what we saw is that they're trying to see how, so we brought them into a program that we're doing, because when I got in, I didn't actually know what Abuja investment was all about, like you're asking. So we found out that people don't know what we do. And with management, we sat down to agree, how do people get to know us? So most recently, we've held a kind of pre-submit cocktail with the diplomatic community in Nigeria. And suffice me to say that we had over 43 countries turn up. And that was very, very informative to them. The dean of the diplomatic corps told us that they didn't know what Abuja investment was all about. So we see that there's a need to move beyond, so that we don't wink in the dark. We're trying to get out there. We have a summit that will be high level in October, and all to let people know what Abuja investment is all about. The investment opportunity in Abuja is enormous, and we are like the gateway of the country. We did send some invitation over to your office, Mr. Chair, but I don't know if that got to you for the pre-dinner. So that's what we're doing at the moment.
Madam GMD, I would like to welcome you specially again. In the course of your presentation, you said something that has been puzzling to me, that AICL used to own a 6% stake in Sheraton Hotel, and when they recapitalized, it was turned to 3%, and AICL was not aware they were recapitalizing?
Well, the information I got with those inquiries was that they didn't get letters from them. So I've asked they wrote to us. So we're dialoguing with them to be able to get to the nitty-gritty of how it worked.
This committee is very interested in how that happened, because I see gross carelessness. Is a public property in your custody, and then it turns out that for no letters, and then it's now 3%. Please get to the root of it. My second question. I know of a place called Embassy Gardens in Abuja. I'm sure you know it. And it's under your purview. Embassy Gardens is on Nnamdi Azikiwe or Abad Mokoli, it's Maitama. That place has been a subject of litigation for almost 20 years or upwards, if I'm not mistaken. What have you done about it since you came? They are very palatial, beautiful houses that have been built. For the sake of members who don't know, they've been built and there's never been, they are on Mississippi. First building on Mississippi, and they've never been inhabited. So they've been in court. So what have you done about it since you came in?
Thank you very much. A tenant there who defaulted. Okay, let me just shift this to the CIO. Thank you.
Chairman, good afternoon, honorable distinguished members. For the Mitama property, it's in litigation, and we are at the Supreme Court. What happened was that there was an allocation, that plot was reallocated to us, and the original title owner went to court. We won at the High Court. We lost at the Appeal Court, and we are now at the Supreme Court for the case. So since those years that you've seen those buildings, it's because of the litigation that has happened.
Next. A lot of new building, a lot of construction is going on there right now. Both the up and down, something is going on there. we realize it's a kind of, is it a partnership you're doing with these people? Can you please...
Distinguished members, yes, what we have in Zone 3 is that it's a neighborhood center, and there was a ministerial directive that we should redevelop all our markets and neighborhood centers, because you can see over time, so those two buildings have worn out, those buildings are dilapidated. So what we did was to go into partnership with a private developer to redevelop it. And very importantly is that all of those people that are there are tenants, in which they pay what we call social rent to the Abuja investment. So this development will make them now become owners, whereby when we finish construction, they have a first right of refusal. We've been having engagement with their association. So rather than them paying rent now, they will now own those shops. In addition, because we are now going modern and we're going up, it will mean that we'll have more shops before. So all the existing people in the market they have the opportunity to own what they have, to retain what they have, and also if other members of the public are interested. And also, what we've also done is that space you've seen is that there are phases. So in order not to disrupt the ongoing business activity, we started with the places that you are seeing. Temporarily, so that after which we finish, we'll move them to this side, and later they will continue the construction and development.
So is it a PPP or what? What is it?
Yes, it's a PPP arrangement.
Can you please furnish this committee with the arrangement?
Yes, to be in litigation for a property or for an investment, both yourself and the so-called original allottee, you are all suffering from this long process. So have you explored out-of-court settlement based on those investment on the Mississippi properties?
Thank you very much for that. Some of these litigations could be settled out of court. So we escalated it to the point of the minister, calling the parties. So most of these talks are ongoing, but some of them, they agree before him, then they go back to quickly see how they can still continue in court. So it's a bit dicey, but we're not losing guard so that we don't lose what belongs to us.
My question.
Of APDC, like you rightly mentioned, they are into housing, and both commercial and residential. And in terms of residential housing and housing for the masses, they have a signature project along Kubwa Road, at they call it APDC Capital Estate. It has about 750 units, from 2-bedroom flats, 3-bedroom flats to terraces. So it is actually targeted at the middle income of the segment, the SAT side. Then right now they're also having another 350 unit development they are going to in Idogwari, and that one has even studio apartment, 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom and 3-bedroom flat, as well as terraces. Just those are the ongoing projects they have been doing. For the types of profitability of the group, I want to single out OMTCO as one of those, our subsidiary that we own 100%, but has been making losses because they are into mass transit. And because of regulation and because of the social nature of it, they have regulated prices. So they cannot really charge commercially for those, for the services provided. Meanwhile, they buy diesel at commercial price, but they provide and charge service that is regulated by the Transport Secretariat. So over time, because of the nature of bus services and mass transit, that there's some kind of subsidy that is given to them, because as a government organization, we have to have a place where we have to provide social services. Meanwhile, they also have competition from other private companies. So because of that, that has been one of some of the companies not to make profit. Now for us as Abuja Investment, for the past, I think a year ago, we started making profit, and which will now start paying dividends to the FCT. The reason being that sometime in 2009, the company made its first profit and paid dividends to the FCT. However, in some investment that were done
over the time, you see that we make investment and we suffered a lot of litigation, we suffered a lot of judgment, we suffered. So at that time, those things were affecting us in terms of profit. Then from an accounting perspective, because most of our subsidiaries were not also doing well. So when the accountants come and they say you have 100% of UMTCO, and UMTCO is not bringing money, they'll tell you have to provide for this investment because it's an equity investment on your balance sheet. But they are saying that there's no profit coming in for that. But since the new, for this administration, we've been able to have very important thing is that to have control, have a group structure in place at the CAC so that every aspiration and innovation coming in from the holding company can be transferred to the other subsidiaries. Thank you.
That you people are trying to repair those bosses because you found them to be strong up to now. So is there any possibility that you people should partner with Innocence Motors for them to refurbish those bosses so that they will come back to be on road? Because it's, as you have rightly mentioned, those forces, while we were passing, we have been seeing them parked, unutilized. And looking at the civil servants' movements after working hours, you will see a lot of people rushing to catch vehicles. So the transportation system, I think you need to revitalize it. So thank you.
Like other people have approached me as the deputy of this committee that they want to invest in transport sector. I don't know the plan you have to accommodate. There are numerous of them that want to invest. So I don't know the plan you have. That's number one. Let me take on my question too. So I was expecting you to give us quarterly revenue you made from all this your investments. And thirdly, let us know the JV you have entered within this period that you've come on board. Thank you.
We're actually open to as many investors that come to talk to us. We run it, do feasibility to see what is workable, and basically that is what we are. So we will be very glad to have them referred to us, and we look at the template. We're actually talking, and we've sent OMCO management to Lagos to understudy how Lagos is working, and so we could draw from that. That is what we did in the last 2 weeks. So for the other question, with your kind permission, I'll shift it over to who was there before me.
GMD have said, when you do transport, one of the things that was lacking is bus terminals. Fortunately now, the Honorable Minister has commissioned 3, because if you don't have bus terminals, you cannot really, it's very critical for the sustainability of transport system. So with this now and infrastructure, we should, OMTCO should be able to do better. For the JVs, I think we'll supply to the Secretariat.
Abuja taxi. I remember that the other minister, I think former governor of Kaduna State, introduced the Abuja taxi. They were working very well, I think, during his tenure. What has happened to the Abuja taxi scheme?
This administration now, that we're trying to introduce a system of those taxis. There is no taxi. OMCO has not accounted for anything that has to do with taxi. It's not on the records of what I met as the group managing director.
Sir.